Welcome back to the Get Off the Treadmill podcast for small business owners and entrepreneurs, where we show you how to build a successful business and to have a life too. We're going to dive into another topic that helps us make more money in less time and to get off the treadmill so we can experience a life of significance. And now, your host and the author of the #1 best-selling business book, Making Money is Killing Your Business, Chuck Blakeman.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Chuck Blakeman, and today we're going to take a little bit of a left turn on what we normally do. We are going to talk about a business topic, but it's not going to sound like it right up front. I might have to convince you that it is a business topic. We're going to talk about the life-changing benefits of gratitude in business, why we should be grateful, and what it means, what is it, and how should we do it. So let's just start with why. Why should we be grateful? Why gratitude? Our emotional quotient, our EQ, is deeply affected by gratitude or the lack of it. And EQ, our emotional quotient, decides who is successful in business. Let me give you some really startling statistics. We think it's smart people and skilled people who are successful in business. It's not the truth. It's just the opposite. It's those with a real high emotional quotient. And the way in which we're going to talk about gratitude today will help you build a better emotional quotient, a better EQ. All right, so fact number one, 90% of top performers have very high EQ, not IQ. Secondly, EQ accounts for 58% of job performance, not IQ, not skills, but emotional quotient. It's 58% of most people's jobs is defined by how well they're doing in emotional quotient. Third, EQ beats IQ in predicting long-term success. Put the two beside each other. Here's somebody with a real high IQ. Here's somebody with a real high EQ. It's a better indicator of long-term success. The person with high EQ is going to make it. Fourth, people with average IQ and high EQ, emotional quotient, outperform those with high IQ by 70% on a regular basis. So you have a high EQ and an average IQ, you are going to outperform somebody with a really high IQ 70+% of the time. And then lastly, higher EQ results in higher retention, higher income, and overall happiness. So we want EQ. We want that more than IQ. You're born with a lot of your IQ. You can still grow it, but your EQ is something you can actually grow. This is not something you're born with. And gratitude has a big piece in that. Okay, so what is gratitude? That's why we should be grateful in business. What is gratitude? Gratitude or thankfulness is another way to look at it. Gratitude is a feeling of appreciation. It is a feeling. It's an insight. It's an internal. It's a somatic thing that you feel in your body. It's not a factual, intellectual thing. It's a feeling of appreciation or some kind of similar positive response by a recipient of somebody else's kindness. We're going to talk more about this. A recipient. How do we become grateful? Here's the hint. It's not by being grateful. Oh, I'm so grateful that I have this and I have that and I have these people and so grateful for that person. That's good stuff. I'm not saying, please don't hear me saying you shouldn't be grateful in that way. But the neurology has shown us in the last really 3 or 4 years that it's by receiving and embracing gratefulness from others toward us that actually makes us grateful. And that gratefulness of receiving and embracing gratefulness from others, that's a really strong way to begin or to continue to build EQ. So some of the life-changing and business-changing benefits of a gratitude practice that is built around receiving gratitude. It improves our health, increases our energy, elevates our mood, keeps us present, increases our patience, provides perspective, increases optimism, multiplies the good, improves relationships, increases resilience, makes you happier, and other than that, not much. The Mayo Clinic has a couple statements around gratitude. They say, simply stated, gratitude should be practiced daily, and gratitude makes you healthier and happier. And that's going to improve your EQ and that's going to improve your business. So how do we become grateful? Well, again, the neuroscience of gratitude, that the right gratitude practice makes us happier, gives us more meaning, it even gives us awe in life. It's not a woo-woo practice. It's not some kind of fuzzy-wuzzy thing for hippies. This is hardcore success strategy, guys. It's about neurochemistry. It's equally on par with exercise and other commonly accepted practices to help us live better with very long-lasting effects. So go for a run, great. Also, be grateful. It's equally powerful in helping you be a better human being and having more energy, which allows you to build a better business. The neuroscience on this says if it's performed repeatedly, and by repeatedly, they're saying even just one time a week, it has huge benefits. Andrew Huberman has done a lot of research on this. He's a neuroscientist, I think at Stanford University. He says pro-social behaviors replace defensive behaviors and dominate our physiology and mindset to aid our health by default, replacing the practice of trying to be happier. This is also trying to be grateful. It replaces that practice. Gratitude is a mindset that activates the prefrontal cortex for major health benefits. So this is not woo-woo stuff, guys. We should practice at least once a week. And I want to do it 2 or 3 times a week. That's my objective. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I do more often. So how to become grateful? It's not a fake it till you make it practice. It's not like I'm going to muscle through and say, doggone it, today I'm going to be grateful. And boy, I'm not grateful, but I'm going to just say I'm grateful and then try and feel that. It's not that. Your brain knows when you're faking it. The right gratitude practice isn't faking it, and you don't have to fake it till you make it. There's a much better way to do it. Here's what not to do. And this is kind of a fake it till you make it sort of practice in some ways. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do this. I'm saying it doesn't result in what we think. We've always been taught, I've been taught, we've all been taught that gratitude lists are what we should get involved in. Let's make a list of 1, 2, 5, 10 things today to be grateful for. And then let's sit and feel grateful for those things. That doesn't make us grateful. The neurology on it says that they measured both people who do that and people who do what actually makes us grateful. And it has zero positive effect on making you grateful. You can muscle your way through being grateful about what other people are and the things in your life. I'm grateful for my money. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for my job. You can be grateful for those things all day long. And I still think we should be. I think that's a good practice. But remember that neurology has found out that that will not make us more grateful. So we don't become grateful by being grateful toward others. The neurology and the science and tests have actually shown, research has actually shown, we become grateful by receiving gratefulness, by having it coming toward us and receiving and embracing it from others. It's not about being grateful toward others. It's about receiving gratefulness from others. When they're actually thankful for us, how do we receive that? And how do we remember that? How do we embrace that? It's worth repeating. We become grateful by receiving gratefulness from others. So here's the right practice to become more grateful, to get better EQ, to build a better business. Number 1, watch and listen to narratives of others receiving gratefulness. There's plenty of stories in books and in movies and people you probably know who have been told, hey, thank you for what you've done for my life. If you don't have any of these for yourself, find somebody else's, because the neurology says that if you actually get yourself involved in somebody else's story, watch someone else receiving thankfulness and receiving appreciation. I'm so thankful for you. Here's what you've done for me. I appreciate that. You can find those in movies all over the places and books. And put yourself in that person's shoes and receive that for yourself. That actually works. You don't even have to have it coming directly toward you. We love stories and identifying with stories, even somebody else's stories. So find someone else's narrative if you need to, that is powerful for you. Someone else giving help in a way that is inspiring to you. Or 1A, reflect on someone else's gratitude toward you. Most of us can remember a time, maybe recently, maybe long ago, where someone was thankful for something we did for them. And they showed appreciation and said, this really helped me. You not this. You really helped me, and I really appreciate you for what you've done for me in this specific situation. Thank you for helping me across the street. Thank you for giving me that bicycle. Thank you for reminding me that I can keep doing X. It doesn't have to be your own life story, but it has to be one that's moving for you. And if it is something in your own experience, great if you've got your own. All right, so that's number one, is attach yourself to a narrative of receiving gratefulness, either somebody else's where they have received it, doesn't even have to be somebody you know, or something that you can think of from your past. And I know that all of us have received appreciation and thankfulness in our past and have been told at times how much we've helped others. I can't imagine there's a human being on earth that hasn't experienced that. You might not remember it right now. Attach yourself to somebody else's until you remember how it happened to you. So that's number one, the right practice on how to become grateful and how to live longer and better. The second part of that practice is to make a couple bullet point notes. What was the struggle? And then what was the help that solved it? Again, movies are full of this. Books are full of this. The hero's struggle, first this bad thing happened, and then somebody came along and did X. I mean, there's movies built around this. Paying it forward. It's this whole idea of paying it forward. Let me be grateful towards somebody else. And so you receive that gratefulness through watching others do it, and you remember it. And then the third thing is list a few emotions that come to you. And if you can't start there, then start with how do you think they feel? Or how do you think they felt in that movie or in that book or that other real life person that you know? How do you think they felt about receiving that help and receiving that appreciation and that gift? And not that appreciation, but that gift of help and support. How do you think that worked for them? And then list those feelings. It might be one or two, it might be 10. Just list what you think they might have felt. Happy. They might have felt satisfied. They might have felt like, hey, I made a contribution. They might have felt joy. They might have felt real warmth in their body. List the feelings, not just the accomplishment thing. That's not really a feeling. But list the feelings that they might have actually had in their body and in their hearts. And it might be one or two things. And if you have them yourself, then embrace them for yourself about their story. Here's how I would feel if I was in their shoes. So those are the 3 simple steps to beginning to be more grateful. Attach yourself to your story or someone else's story about receiving from gratitude from somebody else, how they were thankful and appreciated you, how you supported or helped them. And then make a couple bullet points. Well, what was the struggle they had and what was the help that I gave them that solved them? It might have been a word that I gave them, a couple sentences, a hug. It might have been I sent them somebody as a potential employee for them. Hey, I'm so grateful you sent me this person. What was it that you did that helped? And then how do you feel about receiving their thankfulness? And I think this is difficult for most of us. I think this is one of the reasons that receiving gratefulness actually helps us. And being grateful toward others actually doesn't do that much for us. Because it's pretty easy for us to be grateful toward others, but we're not good at receiving for all kinds of nonsensical, legitimate reasons. One of them might be that receiving gratefulness from somebody else for helping them, it might make us feel a little bit weak. It might just be hard for us to get in touch with our emotions around that kind of stuff. But that's really important for us to get to that third point. How do I feel about having received that comment from those people? Thank you for what you did for me. So neurology finds that when we do these 3 things, there's a measurable and significant reduction in what they call threat detection and inflammatory stress. Threat detection is, I live in a dangerous and potentially cruel world, and I got to keep my antenna up for all the bad things that might happen to me and all the bad people. And when we receive gratefulness and we're thankful, when we receive people's thankfulness to us and we process that and we emote over it, it reduces our threat detection in the world around us. And the world is not such a dangerous place as we might think. And we enjoy every day more because we're not looking over our shoulder, wondering all the bad things that might happen to us. And it reduces inflammatory stress in our bodies. They have measured how your inflammatory stress has gone down in your body because you have received gratefulness. And the neurology has taught us that inflammation in our body is the number one cause of all major diseases, along with a lot of other things that happen. It is a number one cause in heart attacks and in cancers and all kinds of things that happen to us. Stress and inflammatory stress in our bodies. We can get rid of threat detection and inflammatory. We can't get rid. We can reduce both significantly by receiving gratefulness. So it's also measurable in significant increases in joy. They measure people's joy before and after receiving gratefulness. In happiness, which are two different things. Happiness is circumstantial. Hey, I'm happy about having this moment on the back porch in the sun with these people. Joy is a state of being. I live in this way of knowing that I'm right where I should be. That's joy. Gratitude gives us more joy, gives us more happiness, and it increases the meaning that we have in life. Wow, I've impacted somebody else's life, or I'm adopting someone else's story of impacting someone's life. And it even increases awe, whatever that is, our awe about life, and just to have an awe about life. And it's increased because I've been grateful. Just 1 or 2 or 3 minutes, even one time a week, but I would suggest 2 or 3 times a week. Neurology says if we do this, it increases all those benefits. And you can do it. This is a wild piece. It's not like you have to sit on the top of a mountain in silence with a candle and a gong. And you can do all those things. Great. But the neurology has shown you can actually increase all these benefits by reviewing someone having been grateful for you and how you received it, walking to your car, sitting for a moment or so, before you get out of bed in the morning, before you go to sleep at night. You can just do this while you're not doing anything else mentally or emotionally. Let me remind myself of what that person said, what the problem was, how I helped them solve it, and what do I feel again today? You might have a different emotion. I do this. I review specific gratefulnesses toward me on a regular basis. I've got like 8 or 10 of them that were really impactful to people, and I rotate them. And so if I'm doing this 2 or 3 times a week, that person's gratefulness toward me might come up once every 2 or 3, or probably every 3 or 4 weeks, maybe once every 5 weeks. And I will ask myself again, what do I feel right now about that? Not what did I feel then when they were grateful toward me, because it'll change and you'll open up new things that you're grateful for, and it'll help you create more meaning. You can do this anytime as long as you're not cognitively and emotionally distracted by something else. So here's the question. Do you want to live a longer, better life? Do you want to have a business with higher EQ that will allow you to be more successful and make more money in less time? 1 to 2 minutes, a couple times a week could improve your health, your mindset, and living longer. It could be the key to getting your business to the next level so you can make more money in less time, get off that treadmill, and live that life of significance that you've been working so hard to attain. Remember, you get what you intend, not what you hope for. Change your intention. Intend to grow in gratitude and be good at receiving gratefulness. How are you going to set yourself up for success today? What's the one thing you can do to help you begin to develop a better gratefulness practice so you can make more money in less time? I look forward to hearing from you.
That wraps up another episode of the Get Off the Treadmill podcast. If you found this podcast helpful, please subscribe and hit the like button to ensure you are receiving the latest tools you need to grow your business and to get off the treadmill. If you want more information on the 3 to 5 Club, the Crankset Group, or to book Chuck as a business advisor, speaker, or workshop leader, you can contact us at grow@cranksetgroup.com. Until next time, have a great week.